Edition of Deconversion Stories. I'm your host, Neil the 604 Atheist, and today I am chatting with Mr. Atheist News himself. You guys might be familiar with his channel. He's got a great channel. He brings up a lot of topics that we're all concerned about from time to time. Just before we get going, I want to let you guys know that if you are recently deconverted and you're having some problems, that I do have links below to helpful sites for stuff like that. I also have support links for my channel. If you guys like what I do and you want to help out, there are a couple of links. I have a wish list link and also my PayPal. And I also have all the appropriate links for Atheist News down below. You can follow him on Twitter, sub to his channel on YouTube. It's a really good channel. And I'm on one of his episodes of Atheist Jeopardy. And I'm hoping to get on there yet again because I've been challenged by Prophet of Zod. So it should be pretty fun. Anyways, you know what I do here, man. We talk about how people left their beliefs behind and the journey from being a believer to becoming the atheist activist that you are today. So why don't you take us on that journey? And of course, expect me to jump in with ridiculous things that I might say from time to time. So take it away.
I'm Steve DeMarco. I chose a while ago to make my name public, so it's okay to say my name.
Okay, all right, good. I wasn't sure.
But anyways, like a lot of people, my journey with religion started when I was a child. However, unlike a lot of people, my journey away from religion also started when I was a child.
Wow.
So I was lucky enough to not have to deal with a whole lot of pressure until later on. But I'll get into that later on. First, let me start by explaining that at the time when I was 9 years old, I was like second youngest out of 6 kids in the family. A lot of half brothers, stepbrothers, stepsisters, half sisters. So I kind of got lost in the shuffle. Not complaining a bit. Just saying. So what happened was in Florida, I had a friend. His name was Urban. This was outside of the Tampa Bay area. And we hung out. He was a neighborhood kid. We played, had fun. And there was a church nearby that he would go to every Sunday and every Wednesday night. And he invited me to come with him on the Wednesday night one because basically we would just go and play. And we would have to attend a service that was usually around an hour. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, cool. I don't have a problem with that. It was basically just an excuse to go play soccer with my friends. And being a little nerdy kid, big glasses, everything, I was eager to be accepted by anyone, really.
I hear you.
So
I was a little nerdy kid too, little runny nosed kid, and I used to get beat up.
Big glasses, but I had the laser eye surgery, so I'm good now.
Awesome.
So we do the thing, go to church, and the very first service, everyone bows their heads to pray. So I'm game. I have no opinions either way at the time. I'm 9. I bowed my head, closed my eyes, and I remember thinking audibly in my head, hello? There was nothing. Nothing there. So I lift up my head, and I look around the church, and all these people bowing their heads, doing the same thing, and I can guarantee you they weren't hearing anything either.
Probably not. And if they were, there's medication that can help with that.
Yeah. So that kind of opened my eyes right away that this was nonsensical, what they were doing. So I still went the following Wednesday. Same deal, just played with my friends for an hour and then had to attend the service for an hour.
Wait, Wednesday? So it's just like a Catholic church?
No.
No?
It was they just held like a evening service on Wednesdays as well.
Okay.
So Wednesday I go again and I'm listening to the pastor give his sermon. And it was this sermon, he was basically telling a story. about a man who ate a scroll, only the scroll was a roll. So when he ate the roll, he got all the information from the scroll. And that was just the biggest piece of BS I ever heard in my life.
I'm wondering if he lost all the information after he pooped.
That's a good question. Because as it turns out, it wasn't just BS on the level of religion. This was next level BS because it wasn't a Bible story. I'd find out many years later as an adult, it's not a Bible story or anything. He just kind of made it up and presented it as one.
Wow. Can they do that?
I guess. What's to stop them, really? How many people in that church read that thick book?
True. I'm just wondering if it's become part of the canon now.
So I realized right then it was nonsense. And in between, I was going to the Sunday service with him as well. I went to that Sunday service, and my friend told me, "Hey, bring some money." I was like, "I don't have any money, we're dirt poor, on food stamps, got nothing, 6 kids." He's like, "Just find something, anything." So I found like 12 cents, and I brought it. And during the service, he invites all the kids to come up and donate money. And they get a little, you got like a little ticket that's saying, "Hey, you donated." So I did this the first Sunday, and I did the following Sunday like 12 cents and 8 cents or something. And it was just, he gave me 2 tickets, and I redeemed the tickets for this, a Hot Wheels car. And I still have it today. And I still have it when you lose so many things as a kid, because it's just little. It's easy to keep.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you got that from your donation or whatever, tickets, would that be considered a holy roller now?
I don't know.
It could be like the new little cars, for the religious kids. Instead of Hot Wheels, it could be holy rollers. Wait, I think I'm onto something.
It was only thinking about what I was going to be talking about on your show tonight that I realized what it was really about. It was teaching kids to give money to the church. It didn't matter how much we gave. It was conditioning us as children to do this. And like I said, it kind of blew my mind when I was thinking about what I was going to be talking about on the show. And that's what it was. I was like, holy shit. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Tithing prepping.
So that was it for me. No more. I knew it was all BS. Didn't ever go back, even though I still saw my friends, all the time. So that it just wasn't worth it to me anymore. I was wasting my time. And I don't know why I was so adamant about not going back, but I knew that I was like, it was a joke, basically, to me. Everything they were talking about was nonsense. And for a 9-year-old, this is a little more awake than a lot of other 9-year-olds. And I don't blame other kids for getting roped up into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially if they're bribing you with like toys. I mean, come on. Yeah.
So that was how it kind of started. It wasn't until I was around 13 I learned what the term atheist was, and I realized, oh, that's me. It's because at the time it was my dad's second divorce. I got separated from my 5 brothers and sisters, and he moved me from Florida up to New York with him. Mm-hmm. And I met his side of the family, including my uncle Walter, who was an atheist. And he explained to me what it was, and I was like, that's me. So yeah, that's the first. I broke my life up into 4 sections for this show with you. So that's basically the end of part 1 there in terms of me being a kid. I don't know. Looking back on it, it's hard for me to say one way or another, but I'm glad it shaked out the way it did.
Well, I mean, if it didn't, we wouldn't have the awesome show that you provide. So
there's no way of knowing that. I mean, there's plenty of atheists now, passionate atheists who grew up with religion as a big part of their life. So
sure, yeah, true.
I mean, you do your show. How long has it been for you?
I started last June or July? Not this last one, but the previous. So a little over a year.
And how long have you identified as an atheist?
How long have I been saying it out loud kind of thing?
Yeah.
I would say mid-30s ish, I guess. And I'm 52 now. So, I don't know if you saw my deconversion story that we did on April 1st when Randolph interviewed me on my channel for a bit of a switcheroo. And I was a pagan for a while, very, very similar to Aaron Ra and his story, where he was in the religion, then he went to paganism and stuff like that. And I was very similar. So, but in my 30s, I guess I finally went, yeah, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm an atheist.
Just kind of dropped it.
Yeah.
All right. I have notes here, so I keep looking to the side.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I'm totally not used to live shows still. My channel is all pre-written, pre-taped. I edit, so. Yeah,
but the live we do the Atheist Jeopardy live, don't we?
Live, but I've only done a couple of those so far. I've only done 4 so far.
Oh, okay.
Now, part 2 is my teenage years.
All right. The fun years.
Obviously, as a teenager, most things boil down to school and friends and crushes. When I was a teenager in Delaware, my friends were very religious, and I'm talking deeply religious. And they would pray for me when I would tell them, yeah, I'm an atheist. So they would bow their heads, give a prayer for me, raise their heads, have a big old smile on their face. I'd be like, thanks, man.
I'll go home and talk to my cat for you. Expect the same results.
I was very selective with my friends because moving around so much when I was a kid gave me social anxiety. Okay. And so I was very selective with who I kept as friends. They had to be good people, basically. If you weren't a good person, and I still hold it true to this day, if you're not a good person, I'll be friendly with you, but I'm not going to want to hang out.
Right.
So, and my friends, one of them is still very religious to this day, and the other has become more of a, even though he when he became an adult, he became interested to the point where he was training to become a minister, but now he lends himself more to deism, or deism, it's called, which is still very strange to me, but whatever floats his boat, I guess. I mean, because that's one thing about me is that I'm not hostile towards people who choose to be religious.
Sure.
I'm not going to understand it, but I'm not going to agree with it, but it's their choice. When people come to me and want to argue with me about it or have a conversation about it, I absolutely will. And I'll be patient and I'll explain my viewpoint. I'll let them do their thing. But if it gets to the point where they're trying to convert me or they get hostile, I'm just out. Because I don't have the time, I don't have the patience, and I'm not into drama. So we're done with this conversation or I'm walking away. That's why that street epistemology thing, I can never do that.
Street epistemology.
However you pronounce it. I was talking with somebody from the Facebook group Atheist Worldwide, or Atheist World it's known now. Yeah. And he was trying to talk to me about doing it when I lived in North Carolina. And I'm like, no, I have no interest. I was like, first of all, I'm not spending an entire day and might walk away with nothing to use.
Yeah, right. Well, when I do it, and I've done it a few times, but when I do stuff like that, I hope that I can walk away and possibly have changed someone's mind a little bit,
I'm more patient with people. If they come to me with questions, I'll answer the best I can, but I'll still let them form their own conclusions. I'm not into the whole arguing thing. I have a troll right now who gives 30 to 40 comments on every single one of my videos right now, and it's just when I stopped bothered replying to him after about the 20th time, I was like, look, dude, just do whatever you want, So he kept going, and he's like, "Oh, did I shake your world by pointing these things out?" I was like, "No, dude, I gave up. Like, there's no point. I'm not wasting any more time with this." And now I feel bad because people who watch my show are still interacting with him, and I'm thinking he just wants the attention. Just don't give it to him. Because I've dealt with other trolls on Atheist News in the same exact way, and they eventually all give up and just leave. I've only blocked, I think, 2 people from my channel because they were legit giving me death threats. They were Muslim viewers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Shit. Hopefully none of them lived near you.
No, it was pure empty internet threats.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. I even had to look up FYAD because I'm a bit old, so I didn't know what FYAD was, and just the comment just said that, and so I had to look at them and said, "Fuck yourself and die." I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." I mean, if people get their rocks off by coming to my channel and just doing that, enjoy your time. It's not going to offend me. It's not going to derail me from doing the things I do on my channel, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, back to me as a teenager. So I talked about my friends. Let's talk about girls I liked. And it was a bit complicated because I had a crush on 2 different Muslim girls who I was friends with. They did not give a crap that I was an atheist at all. One, she didn't like cover herself in any way. She was from Turkey. She was a Turkish Muslim. They don't really cover themselves a whole lot. She was originally from Turkey, and it was fine. You know, I knew she had an end date because she had to go back to Turkey. So I never like asked her out or anything. Although the attraction was mutual, from what I understand. Not to float my own boat there, but
hey, toot that horn whenever you can, man.
But only once did religion ever come up between us, and she didn't care. Like, wasn't a big deal at all. The other, I did date for like 2 weeks, and it was hilarious because she's explaining to me she was incredibly intelligent, and she was trying to convince me that men are superior to women.
What? Really?
And it blew my friggin' mind. And not just because I was having this conversation with someone I really respected, but because the whole conversation, the roles were like reversed. She's just like, that's just the way I was raised. That's what I believe. And when we dated, she broke up with me because we had to hide our relationship because her family couldn't know she was dating me because she asked me straight out, would you ever convert to Islam? And I said, no, never. And so she eventually broke up with me for that very early on.
Wow.
And then when she got married herself, she went full on cover herself and everything. She went to college and everything. It blew my mind. And that was my my dating experience.
Well, hold on. You said she ended up covering herself ultimately?
Yeah, when
becoming more religious, or
she became even more religious. Yeah, she covered herself with the hijab and all that.
Wow. So even this is while she was at college?
No, this was after she graduated, when she got married.
Oh, okay. Well, that, I wonder if that was any influence of the husband.
No, he was a former Air Force. He did convert to Islam so that he could marry her, but he was, as far as I know, it had nothing to do with that. It was the fact that that's what she wanted. And when she graduated college, oh, time to get married, time to do this now. And it just kind of, it was crazy to me. But going away from that, in my teenage years, there was another strong religious influence on me. And she was probably one of the worst people I ever met in my life. And it was my second stepmother.
Oh.
And she made my life a living hell. especially when it came to religion. She was so devout, she thought the world was ending in Y2K.
Oh, jeez.
Like, she spent a ton of money stockpiling canned goods because Jesus was coming back. And when that ball dropped, and you know how it goes like across the world at New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, every time a time zone hit the New Year's, I'm like, well, the world's still here. You know, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this woman hated me with a passion. When I turned 16, I had to go get a job because I had to start paying rent. Even though I still live, even though I live with my dad, but because my stepmother hated me, gotta go get a job. I gotta start paying her $200 a month rent. And at the time, minimum wage was $5.65 an hour. So that was basically me working and handing it all over to her while going to school. So I was working essentially 40-hour work weeks on top of going to high school. And so when I was 16, apparently she had enough. Absolutely convinced my dad to drag me to church. And I agreed to go for him just the one time. And at 16, I am already like hardcore atheist. Like, I'm not going to believe it. There's no way to convince me. I will go just to humor him because I know how much pressure she was putting on him.
Right.
So we go. Everyone's real nice. And they play a video, a homegrown church video about this nerdy kid in school who's trying to say evolution is real. And all these cool church kids prove him wrong.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I remember that car ride home and me telling him it was fucking I ever had to endure. Never again. Never. Like, me just not getting up out of my chair and walking right out right there took everything I had in me. Because it was so absurd, them convincing the nerdy kid how much of a dork he was for thinking evolution was real.
Unbelievable.
And
didn't you do anything? Like, didn't you say, well, look at this and look at this and none of that? Or
we're talking one person in a church of 100 people. I'm not going to stand up and start yelling.
No, okay, I guess not. Probably not a good idea. You don't
I
want to
knew
get
I was never going back, so it was just a matter of I just need to get through this and get the hell out of here.
Smile and wave.
Oh no, there was no smiling from me.
Oh, okay.
So that's where we cut it off with my teenage years. Unfortunately, while I moved out when I was like 18 or 19, had to get the hell away from my stepmother. And
I don't blame you.
A year after I moved out, my dad told me that they were divorcing because basically all the hate and misery she put me through every single day went from me to him, because the whole time he would say, oh, she's not that bad, or you're exaggerating, it's not that bad. And then, no, it is that bad. And he found out the hard way, and that was that. He even asked if he could move in with me. No, no, that ain't happening. I love you, Dad. No, you brought this on yourself.
You can live in my shed.
Well, I had a studio apartment at the time.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, my dad since has become super religious himself. Something I don't understand. Like super conservative religious. Like, he went from being a very tolerant but religious. Like, he believed in marriage equality, and then as of like 5 years ago, he stopped believing in marriage equality.
And did he say why?
Just that religion, just digging into him, religion and Fox News.
Okay.
And it's very upsetting to have conversations with him that don't creep into politics or religion.
I usually hear people say, okay, we're going to get together, but there's not going to be any talk about religion or politics. That's usually what you hear. And I'm always like, well, why not? What are you afraid of?
So that leads us into me as an adult. And me as an adult, see, I had always know that about myself, but I was not passionate about being an atheist in terms of, it just wasn't on my mind.
Right.
You know, playing video games was on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth of it. You know, I went on dates, and it never really came up. But it was when I started having a relationship as an adult when it started coming up. And the first one I'll get into as an adult was when it was when I was 24, and I was moving from the studio apartment to a 2-bedroom apartment because I just got promoted at work. I was making a lot more money, and
Awesome.
I could afford it. So I'm 24, and I'm dating this girl who's Catholic. To say she was Catholic was almost an overreach in my mind because she believed in a woman's right to choose. She was very, not that it's bad, but she was very promiscuous. You know, she had no problem, sex before marriage and all that.
Well, hey, you know that Frank Zappa wrote a song called Catholic Girls just for that reason.
And I mean, she was no more promiscuous than men are out there. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a big deal to me. So we're dating, and she's interested in moving in with me when I get this 2-bedroom apartment. And I'm like, I don't see a problem with it. And she had told me stories about her background as a religious person. Like when she was in high school, she had a best friend who was gay, and he killed himself.
Oh, shit.
And her church basically said he went to hell. So she had a very bad time with her religion. And when her whole church, like her youth group or whatever, went to the Vatican for a field trip, they didn't invite her because they thought it would look bad because she was best friends with the kid who committed suicide.
Really?
And she wrote a letter to like a bishop or something like that, and he wrote back and personally invited her, and she still said, nah, this whole thing is kind of soured on me. In spite of all that, she remained Catholic. So she wants to move in with me. She's telling me she's putting a cross in every room on the wall. And I was like, no, that's not happening. Forget that. And then she's like, well, when we have kids, they're going to Sunday school every week. And I was like, how do we get to kids?
Yeah, what?
Let's talk about this, because we only dated for 2 months at that point.
and now there's going to be kids.
So let's talk about it. I was like, I'm a fair person. Every other weekend, they go with you to church on Sunday. Then the other weekend, they're with me. She's like, you can't talk to them about it. You can't tell them you're an atheist. You have to start going to church with us too. I was like, none of that is happening. So we broke up. Like, I had to come up with an excuse to break up with her. She threatened to kill herself. So I had never had a woman be so invested in me because I have very low self-esteem. So I'd never had a woman that invested in me. So I actually got back with her. And a girl at work was like, that is the most absurd shit I've ever heard. Don't believe her. She's not killing herself. Sure enough, I broke up with her again like 2 days later, and she didn't kill herself. So it was
usually a tactic,
It was, unfortunately. I'm not saying all women are like that, obviously.
Well, of course not, but obviously this was.
Yeah, that was my personal experience. This is my deconversion story. This is what I went through. So that same girl who told me to break up with her, I dated her next. And we dated for 6 months, and she was a Wiccan. Believed in the rules of 3. Like, I learned a lot that I never knew.
Yeah.
Rules of 3. She believed in charging crystals to help her. I can't even really, it was all nonsense to me. I just kind of let it go one ear out the other for the most part, because I was like, whatever you want to believe, I don't care. Just don't expect me to do it. One day she's like,
don't curse me.
We're in a bookstore. She's like, I don't think I've ever thanked you for this, but thank you for not giving me a hard time about this And she's like, I know how you feel about religion. And I was like, well, your beliefs aren't any different than any other religion out there. And she walks away with a smile, and then she kind of like freezes mid-step, turns around and looks at me and goes, wait a minute. You meant that in a bad way. And I was like, busted. It's like,
I was that close to just water off a duck's back, but oh no.
So that was my follow-up experience on a different spectrum of the whole religion.
Sure. I dated a Wiccan girl too once. I was actually a little bit of a Wiccan myself for a little while, so probably influenced by her.
And so I didn't date anybody for like a year and a half after those two. I mean, like got into a relationship or anything. I went on a few dates here and there, but just as I became selective with friends over time, I became very selective with the women I dated because I hated drama. I was tired of it. I've always hated drama. Don't like it. So a year and a half goes by. I start dating this girl. I get into online dating because I basically work, friends, home, work, friends, home. I don't know a whole lot of people, new people. So I went into online dating and I dated this girl from Thailand. And no, she wasn't a mail order bride, as many of my friends wanted to accuse me of. She was over on a work visa. Basically, they send all these women from foreign countries to work as live-in nannies, basically, for these rich people. And it's like a year work visa. And she was from Thailand, so she was Buddhist. And once again, all new territory for me. I have no idea what any of it is. She wasn't as bad in terms of trying to force anything on me or accusing me of anything. We both knew that the relationship had an expiration date because she wasn't getting a new work visa. So we were in a relationship, but not really. Like we were, as long as she was in the US, we were in a relationship.
I see.
And I remember her telling me that monks in Thailand, you go and give them money and they give you blessings in return. And I'm like,
what?
They get money for that? She's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit, I want to be a monk. And she'd do everything all day, every day, and just be like, sprinkle some dust. It's a blessing to you. Give me money. Like, you don't understand.
I can just see you out there doing that with the fucking with that, what do they call that shiny little speckly fairy dust crap that the kids love?
Glitter?
Yeah, it's just something with glitter. Oh, $20 here.
Oh, that's what's going on at strip clubs then. They're just Buddhists.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We got to put the money though in better places, like G-straps, G-string straps and stuff.
All right. Getting away from the same time frame, getting away from dating, because that's basically my history with that. I go to a friend's wedding. A friend of mine I hadn't really seen that much of since I was like 19. And he moved out to a state away and hadn't seen him for a couple of years. And so me and our other friend, me and her, we go to his wedding. He's marrying the pastor's daughter.
Ooh.
We go to this big church. The pastor is the one doing, solemnizing the marriage.
Wow.
And he's saying in this wedding ceremony that it is a woman's place is the home. And many other lines in that vein about his own freaking daughter.
Yeah. Not
and
surprising.
me and the girl I went with, we were just looking at each other, like giving each other the side eye in the back of the church with each and everything he says like this. We cannot believe it. And it kind of sparked something in me that in all my experience, I never really thought about how religion puts people down. Because it never put me down because I got away from it so young. but I never realized how much it was hurting other people. And then for the first time, around the same time, I saw a movie about atheism. It was called Religulous with Bill Maher.
Yeah, I have it on my computer, actually.
Great movie. Bill Maher was kind of a douche, but the movie itself was great.
He is, and I've heard that actually from other people. I also have the Unbelievers on here too, which is really good.
So I was struck by how good this movie was, and it was the first it was the first time, other than me letting people borrow my lost DVDs, that I let people borrow this movie because I bought it. And at the time, Netflix by mail was big, so I first watched it that way, and then I went out and bought the movie, and I was letting people borrow it. That was my first helping people. Hey, you want to watch this movie? That was the first time I interacted with other people in terms of if they had questions, I'd answer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of part 3 there. And then finally, part 4 is Atheist News.
Right on. That's good, because let's talk about that for sure.
So this actually starts with my wife.
Okay.
We meet when I moved to North Carolina. We had the same job, or worked for the same company, I should say. And we meet, and she's interested, and she sends somebody to say, "Hey, you want to go out with this person?" I was like, "This isn't high school." This is.
I was gonna say, how high school?
Yeah, I'm 29 or 30 at the time, so I'm like, this ain't high school.
Ooh, older women. Yeah, boy.
Well, she's a year older than me, so at the time I was 30 at the time, and she's like 31 at the time.
Okay.
And she still lives with her dad, which is weird to me, super freaking weird, but whatever. And so I tell the person who came and told me that, look, go tell her if she wants to have lunch with me today. We can talk. We go to Subway, eat fresh.
Nice little plug there. I expect some money, Subway.
And I'm like, there's 3 things you need to know about me, or else if you have a problem with any of this, then it's just not going to work. 1, I don't like drama. If you're super into drama, if you make big deals about little things, we're not going to date. 2, I'm big into equality. If you're racist in any way, this is over, and our friendship is probably over. So forget that. She's like, no, I not at all, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, 3rd, I'm an atheist. So if you have a problem with that, it's probably not going to work out, because I've tried this before and it hasn't worked out for me. I can give it another try, but if you have a problem with me being an atheist, or you try to convert me, it's done right out the gate. Come to find out, 6 months later, she tells me that she had no idea what an atheist was.
Really?
She had to go to her dad and ask him, what's an atheist? He made a big deal about it, but I didn't know what he meant. So her dad flipped out and told her not to date me and all this. Ooh. She even has ironically, me being the host of Atheist News, she has a tattoo of a cross on her ankle. I think the first couple times I touched it, I was like, ah!
Run to the washer and put it under water. So she's pregnant. This is after we're married already, obviously. She's pregnant, and I'm kind of thinking about things I want to do with my free time outside of work. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really playing any games at the time. I'm a big video gamer. I love comic books, love movies, love TV shows. I'm a huge nerd. So I'm like, I kind of want to start a YouTube show. Everybody's doing it. Why not? And it's just a way for me to be creative. Yep.
There's 3 things it was going to be about. 3 things that are near and dear to me. Me being a huge nerd, that was one possible way of going. Movies, like I said, movies, comics, everything. I love it all, except anime. I can't get into anime. I am so sorry, anime fans.
Really? Oh, I love it.
I watched all the way through the Cell games on Dragon Ball Z. Really enjoyed it. Watched the Pokemon series when I was in high school. That's it. I've had many friends who loved, like, forced me to watch Full Metal Alchemist with them, like an entire season with them, and I'm still like, eh.
I like Full Metal Alchemist.
It's just a different way of telling stories. That's what it boils down to for me. I love stories.
Yeah.
Books, role-playing games, it all. I love stories. To me, the problem I had with anime was that it's very exaggerated. Big eyes, big combat. You know, everything's super exaggerated to the max.
Mm-hmm.
And it's why I think I kind of lost touch with it. I was kind of like, nah. I don't want to spend another 20 episodes of Gohan and Krillin flying across Namek.
And little conversations that they have as they're flying. Yeah, that's hilarious. I got into it like early. I was into, like, when I was in my teenage years, they had Robotech. They had what's that spaceship Yamamoto or whatever they called it, Star Blazers. They had Geoforce. They had all these anime things that I used to watch. Of course, Astro Boy too, right? So, and I got into it when I was young, so I kind of grew up with anime too, so to speak.
Oh, so you had it a lot earlier than most people did. Like, I wasn't until after, like, years later, I realized Sonic was totally ripping off Dragon Ball Z, Sonic the Hedgehog, with his stones. He turned, his hair became super spiky and glowed, and all that. I was like, wait a minute, because I knew that it was out in Japan long before the Sonic games came out. But anyway,
yeah.
So that was the one option for a show, but I didn't do it because there was plenty of other people online who had nerd shows, and I felt like I would have just gotten lost in the mix. Two, a show about equality, racial equality, gender equality, LGBTQ equality, all of it super important to me. However, I felt I didn't have the perspective required to really give a total show as a straight white dude. Like, I'm not saying I couldn't do the show, but I didn't feel like I had the perspective to give a proper show, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I totally do.
So I can totally support equal rights for all without making a YouTube show about it. And then third was atheism. And like a week prior to me even telling my wife, look, this is my idea and I'm going to do it. About a week prior to that, I actually was looking on YouTube for atheist news because I loved Colbert Report at the time. And I loved the news style format. And I wanted a show about atheism and religion. I didn't find it anywhere. So when it came time to me, I want to do my own YouTube show. Oh, I'm going to limit it to atheism. Oh, I wanted this show. I couldn't find it anywhere. That's the show I'm going to do. So that's how Atheist News started for me.
Awesome.
So at the time when I first started the show, I did it every week. It was a weekly show. So I was looking online for all these news stories that happened. And it blew my mind, the shit that was happening out there that I had no idea, because I'm getting a story from over here and a story from over here and a story from over here and a story from over here. None of it's coalesced into one source. And it was just kind of blowing my mind. Like, I remember Pokemon Go, Ruslan Sokolovsky arrested in Russia for playing Pokemon Go in a church. That was on the first episode. Dutch atheists were starting a campaign that it's okay to leave the church. All these different news stories. And I did the show. Terrible quality. I will say the first year of Atheist News is terrible quality because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to do anything. I had no support, no community, no friends, no online friends that I could say, hey, how do you do this? Hey, what kind of microphone do you use? I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I filmed it with my iPhone, and that was it. Just the iPhone and me. And a video editor app called Video Editor. That was it.
Pretty explanatory.
And I uploaded it, and I went to bed. Next morning, you ever see the movie Unbreakable?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Do you remember towards the end of the movie, after he helped those people in the house, towards the end of the movie, and Mr. Glass, he asked him, how did you feel when you woke up in the morning? Did you feel like you had a sense of purpose? That's how I felt. I felt a sense of fulfillment I'd never experienced in my entire life.
Wow, really?
I don't care how crappy it turned out. I realized this is what I'm passionate about. This is, no matter what the situation, I am doing a show every single week. And then the ideas just started exploding. Years later now, I do Atheist News every other week, but I also have the Atheist Hall of Fame. I have Famous Atheists. I have Science versus Religion. I have Science News every month. I have
Atheist Jeopardy.
Atheist Jeopardy. I have so many. I have Godsmacked. So many different.
That's good. Shows. I like the Godsmacked.
I have so many different shows. I do Atheist Adventure, profiling a country on their history of religion and atheism, and where they're at in the world today. Like, I have so many different shows I do right now because I have so many ideas all the time. I have a lot of show ideas I have, and I don't have time to do them. That's the one big drawback. I have more ideas than I have time to do. If my dream, even though it's a pipe dream, is to do my show for a living, because I would be able to do all the shows I want all the time. I'd be uploading probably 8 videos a week. I would have Atheist News. I would have all these other shows I want to do. That's the dream. It ain't going to happen, but I'm not disappointed because I get fulfillment from what I'm doing now.
Right.
Atheist News. Any news around the world regarding atheism and religion. And holy shit. I have never seen so many kids getting molested in my... How is this not major freaking news? Every episode of Atheist News, there's like a minimum of 5 freaking news stories about this pastor was arrested, this imam was arrested, this rabbi was arrested, this priest was arrested. All of these religious leaders getting caught sexually abusing children, and it blows my mind. It's heartbreaking. I hate that I have to report on it. It sucks. When I do my year-end reviews, because I started in September of 2016, and so every September I do a year-end review of everything I did. So whenever I do the year-end review, I do a montage of every single news story about children getting abused. And the last 2 years, it's been over an hour long. And I'm talking, I just do a quick, this was the priest, this is where it happened, this is the church, what he was arrested for. So I'm doing several stories in a minute, and it went over an hour. That is...
It's disturbing.
It's a downer for your show right now, but...
Well, no, it's disturbing that there's enough of that to make up that much time on your show.
I don't know. And in terms of, the thing I'll kind of round this out right now on what I have written down is what I'm getting into now on the show, which is reaching out to great people like you. And becoming more connected with the atheist community on YouTube, because I have 0 connections. I do the show on my own, post the video.
Dude, we'll fix that.
Go to work. That's the thing, though. I don't have a ton of time. Right now, everybody's loving atheist.
I mean, you've got the Jeopardy thing going, and you can have people like me and Zod on there, right? And Surus, if you want. Or you had them on. So
I do Atheist News. And then every other week, and on off weeks, I do one of my other series. Atheist Jeopardy is kind of like an extra thing I do. On top of that, I have to come up with the questions, the answers. I'll scrap a whole category because I'll be like, man, this was all way too hard or way too simple. if I had more time, believe me, I would be doing more Atheist Jeopardies than I do now. I'd be doing a ton of other things. But that's where I'm at now, because what happened was me reaching out to others actually started about 2 years ago. I don't know if you heard of it, but there was a social media site called Secular Nest. It was started by a guy in Brazil named Case Porter, and it was essentially just Facebook for the non-religious. And it was towards the end of 2016, so I'd been doing atheist news for a couple months, and I basically went on there and just started connecting with people. Hey, this is what I do. I do this show called Atheist News on YouTube, and a lot of people, I met a lot of great people on there. Karen Youngworth, she started a few humanist groups on Facebook. The folks, Beth and Deb over at Beyond the Trailer Park. That's how I met them, and I was a guest on their show. And now I like never used Twitter, and now I'm trying to get more into it. And basically, my Twitter was just show uploaded. Go check it out. But now I interact with people more, and and all you guys are great. It's just it's trying to divide my time between work, family, atheist news, and socializing.
Right. Of course. I have the same problem.
No time for any video games anymore. My wife and I are down to just one show we watch at a time. We just finished season 1 of The Boys. Now we're back on the Supernatural. So that's the start and finish of my deconversion story, which was technically the start and finish of my deconversion started and ended when I was 9 years old. But that's
but it was the adventure from that point to now, right? That I think really matters. I see. I missed a whole bunch of comments here. So
yeah, I feel bad. I haven't been interacting at all because I've just been talking.
Randolph said that Secular Nest died twice. It was up and then up and then died again.
Case Porter basically said, "Oh, it's gotten too big. It's gotten much bigger than I thought it would be." So he brought it down, brought it back, and then he said to say, "Oh, I need funding. I need all this," and then he disappeared. It was really strange. He seemed really passionate about it, so I don't know if it was all just a swindle to get donations from people in the end, or if he just couldn't do it anymore. But he cut all communications. Nobody heard from him. It was a shame. A lot of people really liked it because basically it was a place to share memes without fear of offending your family.
Yeah, definitely. Randolph is starting something similar to that, so look out for that. I can't go into detail. If you want to know, he'll let you.
There go all my plans.
No, it'll be similar to that. He's already got I can't, for lack of a better word, like a BBS bulletin board page where he lists all the atheists that you and I both know and all their dealies and shows and everything right now.
I think I saw that because Ex-Cult Baby got added to it, and I was like, I've been doing this show for 3 years. Where's my mention? Because I wasn't on there.
Yeah, Randolph, get on it. Randolph, I'm going to be doing a show with too.
To this day, I still get people who comment on a video. Hey, just found your channel. Never knew about it. And I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it 3 years. Every single week, I have new videos. I am hard to find for some reason.
That's to do with YouTube and algorithms and shit like that. So,
although my Godsmack videos have been getting a ton of views, I think for some reason my Godsmack videos are because I look at my analytics on YouTube and they're still consistently getting so much more views than everything else, especially my Godsmacked on Kamazatz, the Mayan god of death, and my Godsmacked on Fujin and Raijin, the Shinto gods of wind and lightning. And I think for some reason that has fit into the algorithm. I don't know how, but it's been popping up into people's search bars. And
sure, they're probably searching those things like anime, stuff, right? When you look at stuff like that, and then all of a sudden your shit comes up.
I think Camazotz mainly because I talk about in Godsmack series, it's the mythology, how they were worshipped, and their current status.
Mhm.
Camazotz had a lot to do with vampire mythology today
Mhm.
because it was a bad god of death, and also Man-Bat from Batman was inspired by Camazotz in
Yes.
terms of his appearance. So I think it's either of those things are showing up in searches for Batman or vampires.
Probably.
And Fujin and Raijin were used in Final Fantasy VIII, and Raijin is the influence of Raiden from the Mortal Kombat series.
Mhm.
So I think it's kind of getting mixed in with that as well.
Sure, I'm sure.
Works for me, but people who are looking for Mortal Kombat are going to be deeply disappointed when they learn about the Shinto god of lightning and that he actually looked nothing like Raiden from Mortal Kombat, because that was actually the Taoist lightning god with the Japanese Shinto god's name. That's why he has the Chinese hat thing, because it was a direct influence from Big Trouble in Little China.
Mm-hmm.
The lightning guy, that's
Mhm.
Raiden, but not actually Raiden. They just took the name Raiden from Shinto.
Because it sounds cool. I mean, it just mishmash all the Asian cultures religiously, anyways. Yeah, Randolph posted there the Atheist Cosmos, and did you add Atheist News to it? I forgot to ask you that, Randolph. So just let me know. And Mark Caesar had a great suggestion, and I was actually going to suggest it to you as well about talking to Jimmy, Mr. Atheist, about how to manipulate algorithms, because he does
Social anxiety. I can't
I
talk
can
to people.
connect you guys. I know Jimmy.
It's super awkward. Hi, my name's Steve. Can you help me, please? Algorithm, please.
Dude, I can get you on track with him. Oh, Wonder Lady, hi! I didn't even see you sneak in. All right. Well, we're closing in on the hour. Are you cool with doing an after party
Sure,
and hanging out with some people?
absolutely.
All right. So, like this, the social anxiety is okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, all right. I figured as much because you have a bunch of us in your show for Atheist Jeopardy. So, all right, yeah, we'll usually go for another hour, a little bit, or you're actually not obligated to join, but you stay for however long you want. You know,
Okay.
so the wife starts throwing things at you. Get over here, you know, that kind of thing. So, all right, cool. Well, Steve, man, thanks so much for joining me today, man. I really liked chatting with you and getting to know that. I didn't really know much about that story from you. I've heard you talk about it before in some of your episodes of stuff, but not that detailed. So it's really great to do that. And you got to get me and Zod in there together, going head to head. And of course,
Unholy Sarah and Nervardia want to face each other as well.
I know. And now Bionic Dance told me she wants to come on.
Yeah, so it's again, if I could do several Atheist Jeopardies in a month, sure. But
oh no, they all know that you do it like once a month.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're fully expecting that we'll be slotted in a little bit, right?
Okay.
And Doorknob Head is one of your biggest fans, apparently, because he's in all caps. He's like, Atheist News rocks. So there we go. Yeah, guys, I have a link to Atheist News down below in the description. And Andalinda, I didn't see you sneak in either, Andalinda. Sorry. I've sort of been focusing more on the show lately than what you yahoos are talking about in the chat section. So anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out with Steve and I. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Anyways, we are going to do an after party. So if you are interested in jumping in and saying hi to Steve and telling him a story or two or whatnot, just let me know on Twitter. And I'll get you a link if you're not in my group, because I'll always dump a link in my group for anyone there that would like to jump in, like Randolph and IQ, who's been shilling out your channel, by the way, like a madman.
Thank you, IQ.
So Wonder Lady wants in too. Awesome.
It's easier, IQ, because my channel is also /C/Atheist News. Like, you don't have to give the long-winded out link.
Yeah, I know. I never. They didn't do that for me. I think you have to pass a certain number of subscribers before you can get an actual.
When I was able to do it, it was just after I passed 100 subscribers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for me too when I did my gaming channel years ago. I think I got it right away, but now they have the little numbers and crap.
Oh, now it's rules, different rules.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got it when I did, though.
Yeah, no doubt. Mine's still a bunch of goobly gark, but or gobbledygook or whatever they call it. But anyways, we'll get into an after party momentarily, guys. I'm sick in bed. Oh, Randolph, hope you can feel better, buddy. So we'll get into an after party. Sure. Oh, yeah, it is almost that time of year. That's what I look like on the inside.
This is a prop I used for the last Hall of Fame when I inducted this Satanic Temple.
Awesome. You gotta get do you have like the wood burning tools that you can get for making wood art and shit?
No.
They're like the hot rod things.
These?
Yeah, like you got them in reach. But you get to do the little A in there, right? And do the symbol.
Oh, yeah.
And the skull head.
I don't even know what this is made of. I don't want to give myself fumes, toxic fumes as I'm burning in.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna look great. I don't feel so good.
Using Lincoln the envelopes all over again.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, Stephen, thanks again, man, for joining me. Let's jump out of this and we'll jump into an after party. You're gonna give me about 8 to 10 minutes or so because I'm gonna go have a quick smoke and
I gotta go get a party hat.
Fuck yeah. And one of those things goes. Oh, and by the way, guys, my birthday's coming up on the 20th. If you do want to go to my PayPal and help me out there, or grab something from my Amazon wish list, which is also down below, that would be sweet. I think the thing I need most, because I've already got a little dent in my microphone, would be the case that I can carry the damn thing in. And a new pair of headphones. That's what I'm most looking forward to. Of course, I could, after my mom drops the large check of cash on me for my birthday, I could probably do it myself. But, anyway. And give everyone some props that's been shilling. There have been a few catching on. Oh, yeah, I saw Mark doing it. I saw you doing it. I think, and Randolph was doing it. I think. I don't know. Typically 13 minutes. Screw you, IQ. Anyway, yeah, usually. Anyways, yes, we do have the same birth month thrown out ahead. Mine's on the 20th. I thought we'd been over this already. Anyway.
Same hospital too, right?
Yeah, same hospital. He was just down the hall. We'd sneak out for a smoke together.
High fives.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Randolph says to wish everyone happy Atheist Appreciation Day on Saturday, October the 5th is apparently Atheist Appreciation Day. No wonder we've never
heard. Everyone subscribe to everyone that's atheist.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone do the whole big subscribe party. But it's nobody appreciates us, dude. So it's all for us to do our own things. No. I mean, nobody that isn't an atheist appreciates atheists. That's what Anyway, all right, guys, it's time to bring this one to a close. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure having you guys in the chat. And until next time, guys. Just wait. I do have a couple of quick updates for you guys on some people that I have managed to talk into coming onto the show.
Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins. Yeah, I'm trying. John W. Loftus, who's an author and wrote. He was once a pastor, I think, and he wrote a bunch of books like that. Zara Kay is going to come on.
Wow, that's a big one, yeah.
And I'm also working on Andrew Seidel. I got Anthony Magnabosco is going to come on. Also, I'm going to try and get Dan Barker on as well, because he would be really, really cool.
Wow.
And I'm still pulling it.
Shoot, you're aiming high.
Yeah.
I feel like garbage now.
No. I was lucky enough to be down there and actually meet a lot of these folks. So, including Matt Dillahunty, I'm still tugging at his coattails. Like, come on, Matt, Come on, man. Gotta come on. He said he would, but he's like,
he does other shows. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
had Left at the Valley and other shows
Yeah.
like that.
And one more thing before I go, before I use my sign out. You guys remember, I think it was a couple of weeks now, when I interviewed Brazen Atheist. She's an ex-stripper, and she has written 3 books, and she just sent me her newest one, and I got it in the mail today, called Expose Yourself. And I even got a little magnet, so I stuck it over on my power box thing over there.
I see what she did there.
Yeah. And she says, Neil, thanks for dispelling my misconception that all Canadians are infinitely nice. See, you hear that, Randolph? We're assholes. Actually, Randolph's a really nice guy. I'm the asshole. All right, everybody. Come on back in about 15 minutes or so, 13 minutes or so, according to IQ, 13 minutes. It's like he times me with a stopwatch or something. And we will have an after party. I can probably post a link on my Twitter if you guys do want to watch. No apology. DM me an updated screenshot of anybody new, and I'll update your schedule. Yes, I know that. Okay, on the Discord. Oh, yeah, I have a Discord now. Thanks to Inquisitive Quandary, I've got a Discord now. And you got to join, man.
I have no idea what Discord is.
It's like another chat server.
I'm disconnected with so much.
It's disconnected from the Discord.
So
I'll get into it with you.
I just updated my MySpace.
I still have a page too for the band from years ago. Nobody goes on there anymore. I go on there and it's like every time they have this thing where you can see how many people are. There's like 30 people. I'm like, who the fuck uses this site anymore? Anyways, all right, guys. As I always say at the end of these things, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.